When I came home to an empty bank account and a goodbye note from my wife, I was shattered. Then I found out she'd run off with my best friend. They thought I'd sit back and let them ride off into the sunset with my money. Well, I had my own plan, and their happy ending was about to start, with empty pockets. My name's Jake. I'm 30. Yes, that Jake. The guy who just got a big promotion at the construction company where I've spent years working my tail off. I'd finally started earning some real money, finally feeling like I was getting somewhere in life. My wife, Sarah, and I had been together for 5 years, making plans, saving for the future, just like any normal couple. We'd even started talking about buying a house. We had shared savings, common dreams, and, or so I thought, a solid partnership. And then there was Max, my best friend since high school. We'd been through everything together. Sports, college, first nights out, everything. He was like a brother to me. I thought nothing could ever change that. But one day, I came home after a long day, and everything started falling apart. I walked through the door, immediately feeling like something was wrong, and I wasn't mistaken. The first thing I noticed was the bedroom door slightly ajar, something Sarah never did. I went in, and there was a mess, like someone had packed in a hurry. A few of her things were just gone. Drawers were left open, papers scattered. It was complete chaos. On the table was a note. "I need time for myself. Please don't look for me." I froze. I read it again and again, trying to make sense of it. Yesterday, everything had been fine. No fights, no hints that anything was wrong. Just emptiness. Naturally, I grabbed my phone and called her. No answer. Panic started to build. Then a thought hit me. What about our bank account? I opened the app and... bam! The balance was 0. Like someone had left a note on my future saying, "Sorry, all funds gone." Real panic set in. Our hard-earned savings, years of work, just vanished. Everything suddenly felt like more than just a relationship crisis or misunderstanding. This was a full-blown disaster. I tried to pull myself together. Breathe, count to 10, that kind of thing. But the more I thought, the angrier I got. And then, Max popped into my head. Recently, he'd had a coincidental meetup with Sarah. And now that moment didn't seem so coincidental anymore. 2 weeks ago, Sarah had casually mentioned bumping into Max at a cafe. They spent an hour together, just chatting. At the time, I thought it was nice that my wife and best friend got along. Oh, how wrong I was. Looking back now, it felt suspiciously calculated. Why even bring it up if they weren't planning a whole secret act behind my back? Feeling uneasy, I decided to swing by Max's place and ask him if he'd seen her. But, as you probably guessed, he wasn't home. The whole thing started to stink. I called his sister, figuring she might know where he'd gone. And then came the bombshell. "Oh, he took a little vacation. Said he needed some time off." A little vacation? While my wife suddenly disappears with a huge chunk of our savings. It was starting to look like a carefully planned getaway. My best friend, my wife, and they both go off the grid at the same time. It was like a bad movie script. And with my money, I was furious, shocked, and completely alone. I had only one option. Figure out exactly where they were. I checked the last bank transactions. The bank confirmed my worst fear. The final transactions were ATM withdrawals getting closer and closer to the border. Of course, they were headed out of the country, planning to start a new life on my money. I realized I couldn't just sit back and watch this happen. There was still a chance I could intercept them. Once I realized I could catch up to them, I didn't waste a second. I took a few days off work, jumped in my car, and headed straight for the border. As I drove, I played out every possible scenario in my mind. They had a few hours head start, but that didn't mean they were in the clear. Border crossings involve a lot of checks, so I still had time. I reached a small town near the border and began checking hotels and motels along the way. If they thought I'd sit back and let them vanish, I had a few surprises for them. After several attempts, I found what I was looking for. There in the parking lot of a rundown motel was Max's car. "Hello, folks. The show's about to start." From there, it felt like a scene straight out of a low-budget thriller. I walked into the lobby trying to look calm, but my hands shook with rage. I asked the clerk if he'd seen a couple fitting Max and Sarah's description. He nodded and said they checked in for the night. Imagine that, settling in like nothing's wrong. I decided not to make a scene and just waited in the lobby. After about an hour, they appeared. Sarah was the first to spot me. She froze like she'd seen a ghost. Max, seeing her reaction, stopped dead in his tracks. The look on their faces was priceless. Shock, panic, and most of all, utter confusion. They couldn't move, couldn't even look away. I motioned for them to follow me out of view of everyone else. They had no choice but to walk with me, looking like two guilty kids who'd been caught red-handed. I was savoring every second of it. Turning to face them, I said without any pleasantries, "I know everything. The money, the disappearance, all your melodramatic excuses. You really thought I'd just roll over and let you run off with my savings?" Sarah started mumbling, pale as a ghost, something about needing to find herself. And Max, the master deflector, tried to pin the whole thing on her, claiming he was just supporting a friend. Sure, right. I let them squirm a bit before I dropped the real bomb. And the money? Well, that won't help you anymore. I froze the account before you even got near the border. So wherever you're planning to go, you'll have to fund your paradise on your own, if you have anything left at all. At that moment, Max visibly deflated. He realized he wasn't getting a penny of my money, and his smug look finally vanished. He tried mumbling something about settling this peacefully and acting like adults, but I'd already lost interest. I told them our business was finished and walked away, leaving them standing there, humiliated and lost. Their big plans for a carefree new life were crashing down right before their eyes, and I enjoyed every second of it. Back home, I felt an unexpected sense of relief. I knew it'd take time to rebuild my trust in people, but strangely, I was okay with that. Lesson learned, and I was moving forward with one important rule. Trust no one but yourself.